Welcome to This Explainer. Okay, today we're stepping into a reality that honestly, most of us can barely even imagine. I want you to just picture having so much money that buying a massive mansion, a supercar, or even your own private jet feels completely normal. We're talking about a world where dropping $1 million is literally like buying a cup of coffee for the rest of us. For the vast majority of people, those things represent the absolute pinnacle of success, right? The finish line. But as we'll see today, for the world's richest individuals, that is literally just the beginning. We're going to explore what I like to call the billionaire's hierarchy of needs. It's a fascinating look at the things that only the ultra-wealthy can afford, moving way beyond simple luxury and into total world-shaping power.
Okay, let's dive into this. We're going to be climbing the ladder of extreme wealth in 4 distinct steps today. First up, absolute privacy and mobility. Second, monuments of unimaginable wealth. Third, security and new frontiers. And finally, the top of the pyramid, the ultimate purchase, legacy. Let's get into it. So, to really set the stage here, let's contrast the ordinary dream with the billionaire reality. On one hand, a once-in-a-lifetime achievement for most folks is finally getting that beautiful house or maybe finally buying that one luxury vehicle you've always wanted. But on the other hand, the billionaire reality, it's about owning private islands, flying in literal palaces in the sky, and purchasing entire city skyscrapers. The contrast is absolutely staggering. What is the ultimate dream for an ordinary person is barely even the starting line for a billionaire.
Which brings us to Tier 1, absolute privacy and mobility. We're talking islands, yachts, and jets.
Now, what's really interesting about this is that when you have unlimited resources, your first priority usually becomes investing in physical isolation and total, unrestricted freedom of movement. The ordinary vacation is completely replaced here. We start with private islands. The goal? Complete privacy. No tourists, no crowds, zero paparazzi. Just endless beaches, private docks, and world-class security. Next up, mega yachts. And guys, these aren't just boats. They're floating cities capable of global travel, staffed by massive crews. And finally, private jets. Forget about airport lines or crowded terminals. This is about pure time efficiency, personalized interiors, and the absolute freedom to move literally anywhere on the globe at a moment's notice. Zooming in on those mega yachts for a second, because we have to. The features are almost unbelievable. These vessels stretch hundreds of feet across the ocean. We are talking about hyper-detailed luxury. Private cinemas, massive swimming pools, helicopter landing pads so you can fly in and out while you're literally out at sea. They have luxury spas, full gyms. I mean, some of these floating cities even feature anti-paparazzi laser shields and their own submarines for underwater exploration. No way, right? And to run all of this, you need a massive crew of chefs, engineers, security personnel, and maintenance teams. It is a monumental operation. Which leads us to a staggering number, tens of millions. Now, that is not the purchase price of one of these floating palaces. That is just the yearly operating cost. Let that sink in. Millions of dollars every single year just to keep the floating city running. For billionaires, these yachts are so much more than transportation. They're ultimate symbols of status and an untethered home that can just sail anywhere on Earth. But when it comes to getting to those yachts or those private islands, aviation is key. And it all comes down to this. Because when every minute matters, time becomes priceless. Billionaires understand that time is the single most valuable asset in the world. A private jet is a luxury, sure. I mean, some of these flying mansions have bedrooms and conference rooms that are way more luxurious than a 5-star hotel, but it's really an investment in convenience, efficiency, and security. No delays, just absolute control over your own time. Let's move to our next step and see how this builds. Tier 2, monuments of unimaginable wealth, skyscrapers, mansions, and masterpieces.
So we're moving from mobility into massive, tangible assets that physically dominate the landscapes around them. You see, some billionaires don't just buy luxury apartments, they buy entire skyscrapers. Imagine having the financial power to purchase a building that completely commands a city's skyline. These are assets worth billions of dollars, generating constant income through offices, luxury residences, shopping centers, the whole shebang. But beyond the financial returns, owning a skyscraper means owning a piece of a city's identity. It is a massive, highly visible representation of influence and legacy that very few people on Earth possess the power to own.
And when it comes to their actual personal homes, the reality is breathtaking. We are talking about personal kingdoms, featuring private movie theaters, full indoor basketball courts, sprawling wine cellars, private bowling alleys, and luxury spas. These aren't just houses. They combine cutting-edge tech with mind-blowing architecture, requiring entire teams working tirelessly behind the scenes year-round just to maintain them. They are deliberately designed to reflect immense success and power.
And the garages? Well, an ordinary garage might hold the dream of one day parking a single luxury car inside. But a billionaire's garage is more like a pristine, matte-finish showroom housing collections of dozens of rare, limited production hypercars. These vehicles are built in extremely small numbers, and they're often completely customized for the owner, right down to the stitching. We're talking about collections worth hundreds of millions of dollars. They aren't just for driving to the store. They're highly curated investments, absolute works of art, and symbols of personal achievement that are completely inaccessible to almost everyone else.
Speaking of works of art, art has always been a symbol of wealth. But at this level, it's an entirely different game. Billionaires don't just buy a painting to match the couch. They buy an entire collection of human history's finest art. They purchase photorealistic masterpieces and historic abstracts, sometimes dropping hundreds of millions of dollars on a single piece. Owning one masterpiece is impressive, for sure, but having the power to own an entire collection of history's greatest artists? That's about preserving culture, building a legacy, and showcasing refined taste on a monumental scale.
Moving right along to Tier 3, Security and New Frontiers, Protection and Space Exploration.
So the crucial point here is that with globe-spanning influence comes the absolute necessity of a private security empire. Round-the-clock professional protection teams, heavily secure compounds, highly advanced home surveillance systems, and customized luxury vehicles loaded up with special safety features. Actually, some of these estates even feature hidden safe rooms straight out of a spy movie. For the ultra-wealthy, absolute privacy and daily physical protection aren't just nice-to-haves. They are priceless, essential necessities when your influence extends across the world.
But once the Earth is conquered and secured, where do you look next? Up. For thousands of years, humanity dreamed of reaching the stars. Today, the world's wealthiest individuals are using their staggering resources to fund missions, build rockets, and turn that dream into reality. Space tourism is the ultimate luxury experience. It's a journey taking humanity literally beyond our own planet, where passengers can look back at views of Earth in absolute, ultra-realistic 8K resolution straight from a space capsule window. It requires such massive financial resources and investment in future tech that for now, this incredible new frontier is a reality reserved almost entirely for the billionaire class.
And that brings us to the very top. Tier 4, the ultimate purchase, legacy, creating history.
You see, the greatest thing billionaires can afford isn't a mega yacht, a mansion, or a private island. It isn't even physical at all. How do you buy a legacy? Well, it happens in steps, and this brilliantly illustrates it. First, they create massive foundations and companies. 2, they literally build and fund entire universities. 3, they support groundbreaking scientific research. And 4, they develop new technologies. They deploy their vast resources to create innovations and opportunities that will continue impacting the world long after they're gone. They are building a legacy that outlives them.
Because ultimately it comes down to this. Money can buy luxury, but true influence creates history. That is the fundamental difference between simply having extraordinary wealth and actively building a lasting legacy. It's the highest tier of the hierarchy of needs. From buying back your own time with a private jet, all the way to funding the science that pushes humanity forward, true billionaire wealth is ultimately about reshaping the world.
Wow, we have covered a lot of ground today. Looking at a reality most of us will never personally experience, but one that undeniably shapes the world we live in. I want to leave you with this final, provocative question. Which of these billionaire luxuries surprised you the most? Was it the total isolation of a private island? Those massive floating cities that are mega yachts? Or the sheer ambition of a journey into space? Think about the massive scale of the reality we just uncovered today. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and until next time, keep dreaming big and keep learning.